Dentistry and General Radio Network presents
the Independent Dental Practice Podcast with Dr. Sunny Spera.
This episode is sponsored by DocSites, the trusted website and marketing company for dental and medical practices. DocSites builds custom, affordable websites with no long-term contracts. Visit DocSites.com or contact them at 888-980-4949 to help your practice stand out. In this episode,
what are three of the biggest mistakes dentists make when it comes to businesses, marketing?
Spending before you have your internal systems and staff prepared. Your staff has to be prepared and to know like a plan. Why would you pay all this ads money if you can't get patients in the door? And number two for me, when the website is so like outdated, if you're gonna do marketing, make sure your website looks good. Make sure it builds trust and someone that looks at it says, I can go to this office and get my work done. And then number three is what we talked about. It's like the biggest mistake is not getting internal patients and reviews. And a lot of them are like, I don't know how to do it. I don't like asking my staff. And so you're going to keep spending money on new patients and not getting them organically. It's a lot of internal work before you go external, in my opinion.
from humble beginnings to a successful marketing company, Dr. Sunny Spera interviews Parham from the DocSites.
Welcome to the Independent Dental Practice, Dr. Sunny Spera. Today, we are going to talk to Parham from the company DocSites, and we're going to find out what does it take to set up your own business? How did you get involved in it? And then what are some tips and things that we can use as practice owners to help increase our business, make us more visible, market ourselves, and then how do we gauge some of those results? So let's welcome Parham. How you doing, man?
Thank you, Dr. Spera. Thank you for having me. I'm excited to be having this conversation with you.
Me too. So tell me your background. Where are you from? Where's home?
Home is SoCal. Background, we came here in SoCal in LA and grew up here as well. And my first job, I'll say, in the medical world was my uncle's own medical laboratories in the healthcare world. So I got to work in that and work with doctors at the age of 14. So I got to learn that how to help people, how to help healthcare practices that need a lot of support and customer service. And I would answer phones, and that was my first entry into that world. And then just growing up, one of my best friends, he ended up opening up a practice around the time I was opening up my marketing firm. He came to me and he said, hey, can you help me market my practice? And he gave me some money. We helped him grow to 10 offices. And this was 2008, recession time, right?
During the recession. Couldn't pick the worst time.
Hey, some of the best businesses grow in recession, right?
Absolutely. Where was home? Where did you come from? You said you came at age
Iran. Born in Iran. Yeah, I'm Iranian.
So what was it like, the country, when you left? What was the country's condition when you left?
I was a kid. I was a baby at the time. I was in the 80s, so there was a war.
Right.
So I was apparently like in a bunker crying a lot. But that's why I always like laugh at, because I'm a parent now and there's so much anxiety amongst other parents. And I'm like, man, I grew up during a war. It's not that big of a deal. It'll work out.
Are you kidding me, man? You have no idea what I've been through. That's the truth. That's the truth.
Yeah.
So you come to the country, you don't speak English.
We don't speak English. We had to immigrate to Vienna, Austria. And my dad, what's interesting, since we're going in this background, my dad had to leave Iran in an interesting way. It was like through the mountains. He couldn't just get on a plane. My mom had to be with us two kids alone for 6 months. So she's really strong for that. And when you look back in your life at things like that, you're like, you're always winning in life if you're healthy because you overcame those elements. And that taught me a lot. And then also seeing my dad start fresh. And I mentioned working for my uncles, but actually my dad would make me go to work with him a lot. He had a clothing store in downtown LA. So he had to learn to speak Spanish to work with his customers.
Wow.
And he made me go and watch him, and he's so super personable and all the good things. So those are things that kind of built my approach to life.
So your dad's a little bit of an entrepreneur.
Yeah, he has a few businesses and now he's chilling.
But you get so it's neat. You grow up in that environment now. What's your family? Are you married, kids?
I'm married and I have a 2.5-year-old and a 10-week-old.
Wow. Now your folks still alive?
My parents are still here, thank God.
So imagine the lessons that your mom can pass on to your wife.
Well, yeah, she definitely does. whether we want it or not.
Sometimes, exactly. Sometimes it's unasked for,
Yeah,
but really, in those experiences, your kids are going to really reap some benefits from that, especially if they get some time with grandma and grandpa.
they do.
And yeah, and even if it's not spoken, it's going to be understood. And I tell you, I'm very fortunate. I got both my parents. They're apart, but they're both still alive. And I have my father-in-law, and we lost my mother-in-law, it was about 6 or 8 years ago. So my kids grew up around two sets of grandparents. And we laugh about it today, but they take a lot of that. Like my father never finished college, never went to college, military, became like an IBM typewriter repair guy, a kind of a Mr. Fix-It Joe MacGyver, and then he worked his way through those ranks. And he always talked about wanting to have an education. So like that was one of the big steps for me and my sister. My sister went to college as well. She was the first in our family, and I was the second. And my other sister, she went for a semester. She didn't make it past that. But you have that dynamic of work ethic. That was the one thing that I was passed down from my father and my mother. And I hope that I passed it on to my kids, and so far it looks like that's working. But it's not something we really talk about. It's just a feeling that you get. So let's talk about you and what you're doing. Did you ever sit down with your mom and just have that conversation? Mom, what were you thinking during this time? And then when you need those inspirations, you got them in your back pocket?
Yeah, I've sat with her, I've sat with my dad and asked them like, how was that experience? What was the anxiety like? Because that's a
They
big
probably
part
didn't
now.
even know the word anxiety. This is life. This is what you do.
This is survival. It's all
Yeah,
survival. And we're lucky we're in a time where like you can really grow and become who you want to be in this world, right? One thing I'll tell you that they taught me to be grateful because that's how they approached everything they did. When you have that mindset, I just feel like you're never going to see yourself as a victim and people gravitate towards that.
they
And I
do.
think my
Do.
partner Kayvon, right? I've known him for a long time, and Ali, we're all like we all grew up together. Ali's my brother's best friends, and then I became friends because I always knew they were hardworking guys, right? And when we first started DocSites, we weren't funded. So when we would go to trade shows, and this is to your hardworking thing, we were using trade shows are not cheap, right? They're like 7 grand, whatever. Now I remember the cost because I was paying for it, all of it, with my partners. And we were literally, there's video of us that I recorded in our first ones like 7, 8 years ago. We're in downtown San Francisco. I don't know if you've ever been, but it's a very sketchy, lots going
Yes.
on. We're pushing our cart of show material because we literally thought you could walk into the show with your own material. Like they're like, no, you got to hire like union, you got to ship it here. We're not like a big corporate company. We're like trying to, so
Right.
just seeing us three load up a car, drive up from LA, 6 hours, throw it in a like cart, push it through for 15 minutes on like us waking up at 6 a.m. doing all, it's like that stuff I think is brought on from our history because we all have that history
Hmm.
of coming from this place and survival. And I just wanted to share that because that's how I see how dental practices and us marketing, how we all can win as a business. You got to do some of the nitty gritty stuff
I
too.
think you're going to see that with your kids, the gratitude portion. They won't be able to put their finger on it, but they'll notice how come other families and like they're different in this way. And it's going to go back to your roots and your basis. And they'll be centered. Your kids will be centered, which is cool. So you're in the country, you're working the medical. How did you then get involved in web design and that kind of stuff? Where did that come from? Where's the genesis of the idea?
So really quick, like I was one class short when I graduated college. I go to get my diploma and they're like, you missed a class.
Are you kidding me?
Yeah, no, I'm not a school person, so it took me like 6 years to graduate, get my bachelor's, just to be honest. And they said, hey, like you missed the class. And I'm like, wait, what happened? They're like, yeah, we forgot to tell you needed this extra class.
Oh
Da, da,
my
da. And I
God.
graduated from a good school, UC San Diego, which is if in the rankings, it's pretty high.
Right.
And I'm like, okay, let me take a marketing class here in LA at UCLA Extension. It's night courses. I could get the credit and then I get my diploma. That class was like unbelievable, lit me on fire. Like I'm like everything I'm learning in here, this is what I would love to do daily.
Oh wow. So you found your
Marketing.
passion by that one
Yeah.
course.
I already knew I liked marketing and business, but like this was like I want to do marketing. I want to do business, like in terms of growth. And then, like I said, like then my friend at the time was opening up his practice, big vision guy, right now has 10 offices. And just knowing at the time in 2008, everyone wanted like websites, SEO. So we set up his website. He was really happy. Then I need growth. And Ali did search engine optimization. I'm like, Ali, you got to work with me. He was working for another company. I'm like, dude, come on. I'll give you a bigger portion of the monthly retainer. Let's attack. And he was so happy with it. Then I was like into video, right? I'm like a big video person. I used to edit videos myself. And I told my friend who owned the offices, I'm like, we got to do video. I'm not paying for that. I'm like, your office is in Vegas. I'm young. I'm 24. I want to come to Vegas. I want to come hang out and I'll do the video for you for free. Literally drove at 4 in the morning, got there at 8, did his video. He loved it. It's like, I'm getting better patients because of the video you made.
Really?
Like it's on YouTube, it's on my website. People are now coming in like ready to do the treatment because they're building more. It's 2008 and it's not every site is doing that. Not every practice. Then we grew it. Then he referred us to his wife, who's an ortho, and then his brother-in-law, who's a dentist. And then we
So
did some
very
local,
organic. Very
yeah, we
organic.
did some local events, and they're like, "Oh, you care about people." They tried us. Then, like a local consultant's like, "You made this person successful, that person. Let me refer you to 4 or 5 other people." And we didn't know there was this like midwinter meeting in Chicago and all that. We didn't know. I wish we knew at the time. We're just growing it, and then we were doing also marketing for local universities, and we did California Pizza Kitchen's website actually and a whole Facebook marketing program for them. But everything led back to we enjoy working with dentists the most. Like it always led back to that. We're like, we just want more dental clients.
Now, how did you get this one client? Was a friend of a friend? How did the whole thing start? You had to say, listen, I want to start doing this. Or he approached you and you said, why not? This matches.
It's my close friend growing up. So we would catch up a lot. Here's what you're doing. I could do it. I could help you. Don't hire like these other big corps.
Sure.
Let me do it. That's like how it was.
So he sees the success. When does your idea now become this could be a business? When does it hit that?
I would say like DocSites was really becoming its own business 8 years ago. We had an agency, but as soon as I saw more and more people wanting and needing marketing in 2008, it was like I got like an offer to work at a market research firm, but I'm like, I'm getting too many people asking me, can you help make a logo? Can you do this? Can you build a website? So the more people asking got us in the door.
Okay. But basically, so 2008 is the genesis, the germination, right? And then you said, so 8 years ago, so 20, so almost 9 years of grinding it out and grinding it out and grinding it out.
Yeah, for the DocSites model where we went all in on dental, where we're like, we're only going to take on dental clients. We're going to learn everything about dental. We're going to we're going to learn all the people who are the top leaders and really understand the industry in a full blown way. And then also we were learning what dentists were getting in terms of marketing and websites wasn't good. It was a lot of expensive or low quality. Like it was one or the other. There wasn't like a in the middle where it was like good quality and affordable. And it's if we could just come and do
Yeah,
that
that's a
and give
sweet
us,
spot to be in. And you guys sit in that spot. That's a nice
yeah,
spot.
we sit in that spot and it's a beautiful spot and we're all happy. That's the beauty. Like I think success has been defined by like all these things that you can have, but it's about being happy to me. And if you come to work being happy, that you're winning.
I couldn't agree more. So the first guy that you help out, your friend, does he ever say, hey, listen, I'll invest in the business? Has anybody come forth and said, hey, let me
Yeah,
invest
he
in it?
tried to do that. But what was the best thing that he did was he fired us. Yeah,
Really? The best thing he did was fire you?
yeah, well, I'll tell you what he did. He said, this is my friend. Again, like I go visit him 4 times a year. I'm literally, when he opens up an office, he's flying us in to go look at it with him, like the area. That's
Yeah.
how involved we used to be in his like practices.
Yeah, I got you. I
We're
got you.
making a ton of money off of it. I'm moving everything internally. He buys a building, he creates like an office, brings his internal marketing people. By the way, he's a client again. So we're marketing all of his offices again, just so you know. So I got to do this internally and see if I could go double and triple, which he went away from now. and is using us again. Once he did that, we're like, you know what? We can make a model replicating this because he was growing, right? He wasn't unhappy.
Right.
So we're like, let's grow this model, but do it now for everyone else. Because at the time when you have 10 offices that's paying you a lot, you're only focused on those clients. How do we grow it more? How do we give more service to them? But this made us look at, we need more people to learn about us. We're like a hidden secret right now.
Gotcha. Okay. So when you decide, all right, we're going to have this company, DocSites, what was the first thing that you did? You said you focused on dentistry. And let me tell you, folks, I can tell you this for a fact because my wife has a laser hair removal company. I contacted Kayvon and I was like, hey, can we do that? He was like, no, we're just in the dental space. I give you credit. You guys talk the talk, walk the walk. Okay. There's no doubt about it. That is almost a rare condition in the world today. So again, what happens when you start? What do you do? How do you get the thing off the ground? What do you guys do to market your business?
Great question. So one thing we did is we gave away free websites. I
Okay.
know, right? We just said
Now, when you did that, did you strategically pick them in different parts of the country? How did you plan that? Or did it just whatever?
we went to shows and we had a banner, free website, and we did a lot of free demos and we did a low monthly price with no contracts. And we still have no contracts, Dr. Spera. So we said, you know what? You don't want to get locked into something for 12 months that you hate. So let us prove ourselves to you. So we created those terms. We delivered really good service to like our clients and asked them to refer more. And we got active to travel and meet more people. So the shows helped us a lot because the shows once we went to Chicago, we got to meet people that we never met here in SoCal. So we were
Yeah, so
able
the
to
midwinter
expand.
meeting?
Yeah, midwinter. And to me, having those terms, I got a 20 practice client one year from midwinter. That's still a client, 6 years now. Keeps adding new businesses. Imagine being on a floor with all these other marketing companies, and he's gave us the shot because one, we knew dentistry at the time. By the time we were going to midwinter, it was 2017, 2018. We had been working with dentists for now 9 years because our other marketing firm had already started with my friend as a client. So we proved ourselves with knowledge, but we gave you terms that were very friendly to you. It wasn't like, let's lock you in these 12-month agreements and all those things. So we did a lot of that. And then when COVID hit, that was bad for us because we're going to midwinter, we're going to Minnesota, Hinman. Those are
Did you go to
gone.
Greater New York? Did you go to New York?
We did go to Greater New York. We did really well, but I will say traveling to New York during Thanksgiving break, not my favorite.
That's torture.
Yeah,
Forget not your favorite. That's torture.
yeah. I don't mind the New Yorkers arguing with me. I like it. Let's argue together a little. Being there on Thanksgiving weekend is tough.
Yeah.
So then we did all that. And then during COVID, we're like, you know what? Let's ask our clients, right? Because naturally we were getting referrals and clients. We're like, hey, where do you buy products? Where do you go? Who do you talk to? We did a survey. So think about that if you're a dental practice. Why not survey your top 20, 30 patients? Hey, who do you guys talk to? Where do you go? Are you going to any gyms? Are you a part of any communities? That's a great idea for practices to grow, right? And some of them said we go to Facebook groups, and we're like, wait, Facebook groups? You guys really go to Facebook groups? And then we went, researched, we started talking to them and did demos, and we're like, oh my God, 20, 30,000 dentists or dental practices. That took another level. And then it's all about the quality of work. So the minute a handful of them liked our work, they started sharing with each other. Then we find a person like Bob who's like, no, I don't know you guys. I never met you guys. But guess what, Bob? I'm calling you again and I'm calling you again. And even if you're a Warriors fan, it's okay.
I know. We got it. With some things you're not going to change.
Even and Bob and I are both these purging guys that have strong beliefs, but we've become friends. And I had to talk him into letting us in the group. And I think now we have 40 plus members who are our clients from the group. And that's in a few years. That's only in a couple of years.
I'm going to ask you a couple other questions regarding the growth? And because you handled the one question, which I was going to ask you, how did you handle when the world closed down for 2 or 3 months? You pivoted. Very simple. You pivoted. And now you've opened up a new avenue of meeting, introducing yourself and your product to dentists. What did your business look like when you started? You said there was the three of you. Did you have any other auxiliaries? And what does it look like now?
So auxiliaries meaning like other team members or
Yeah,
whatnot?
someone that handles the paperwork, the mail, the counting receipt, all that stuff, like bookkeeping. And how did you started with the three of you? Did you have any other employees then?
Yeah, we did. And the way we would get other employees at the time is Kayvon and I were very active in community. And also, like I said, I went to UCLA Extension. It's night courses where you could take a lot of business courses. And Kayvon and I actually got our certificates from there, which means we took 10 courses. So the program leaders there loved us and they started giving us students to intern for us to get credit. And then we would speak at like the local university here, Cal State Northridge, which is a state university. And the students there would hear us do talks and they're like, we want to work for you guys. So we would hire them. But I want to be frank with you, when we recreated DocSites and killed off the agency, we had to change our model. And it was because we had to shift as leaders and create systems. Because in the past, we were like, we're going to enable every employee, empower them to work their way and hard. And the truth is, they needed us to be better leaders. So what we did was we said, you know what, we have to start from scratch. Let's create systems. And then we hired people, made systems, and now we have a full team here.
Yeah, you reinvent yourself.
Yeah, we had to because those employees, they love it. A few of them come and have lunch with us, but the way we led them was more like, let's empower you. But that's not how every employee wants. They want to be like, what are the systems I can follow? And then let me give you feedback on those systems. And I think that applies for dental offices. If you hire someone, right, in my opinion, and you don't give them a system, right? Let's say you want to grow your practice and you don't give them a system to get more referrals, right?
Gonna fail.
They're going to fail. If you just say, hey, get more referrals. But if you say, hey, let's give you a system, let's give you a program, let's give you a landing page to send out, right? Anyway, so now we have a team, full team here, like handling ads, your website set up. You can call and talk to them. They're amazing. They care about people. I think that's how we look to hire, was like, I want to feel that you care about someone when I interview you, right?
Gotcha.
So
Yeah. So what does that number look like? You guys started out, so it was three of you, and then you had some interns, from what I understand.
and some employees like part-time and then some full-time. And then we had to rework the company. And now we have a team here. So we have 3 members in office here with us, 3 members that like working from remote because that's big now. And then various assistants and whatnot that like full-time assistants that help us with different things.
Did you ever read the book, The E-Myth?
I've read through some messaging from it, yes.
Yeah, because that's a lot of kind of what you're talking about. When there's three of you, right? You're like, if I don't do it, then he doesn't do it, he does it, right? And then you
Yeah.
start to grow and you almost become a victim of your growth because you just put people in places like you described and you haven't really given them tools or a measuring stick, right?
Yeah.
So then you got to say, okay, what are we doing? And you can, all of a sudden things start missing. All of a sudden the lights aren't turned off on Friday, and all of a sudden this is left on. It really follows your path, almost parallel. Do you have an area that you really gravitate towards? And does Kayvon have an area? And Ali, do you guys each have areas like, hey, listen, I'm into graphics. Hey, you know what? I dig the SEO and the marketing. Hey, I'm all about layouts on websites. Do you guys have your own little, hey, if I could do this all day, every day, I'd be jazzed?
Yeah, I think all of us like being leaders, all 3 of us. We all kind of want to talk to people, connect and everything. I'm not gonna speak for Kayvon. I'm not gonna speak for Ali, but I will say what I think their strengths are. Kayvon is the most personable person I've ever met.
He
Literally.
is. He's
I've
a great
told him
guy.
that. I've said, you are able to talk and connect with anybody, right? So I'm gonna tell him that all day, and he's insanely organized, like in ways that I can't even imagine how to be that organized. Ali is technical, also very personable, great speaker, great with words, and he's someone that will create the systems and ask all the questions. I would say for me, I like the big vision things. I like to ask what are we doing next? Check in with the team. I personally love the Google Ads and SEO side of things. Like I try to read on that all the time. How do we improve that? And I also like the dental business. So one of the things that I like bringing is what are people doing in the dental business? What are startups doing? What are like a pediatric dentist? How are they going to implement SEO better for themselves, right? Let's target the neighboring cities too, because people will drive for their kids if the office is really good. So that's a strategy. And I like going in the like different Facebook groups, reading about the leading dentists, how they're marketing themselves. I'm into that. And we all like doing the demos and talking and connecting with the dentists too. All three
Okay.
of us still do that.
So let me ask you a couple broader questions, a little more specific to it. What do you think are three of the top marketing areas you think are the most successful presently?
How do practices grow presently in the fastest way? I'm a big believer in, and this is going to sound, I like internal marketing the most. I know
I
you
think
got to
people
get,
start to forget that. They get so
yes,
focused on Google and whatnot that they forget just how your practice, just how your business grew internal. It was grassroots. It was happy, satisfied customers are sending other happy, satisfied customers.
exactly. And I think what people forget too is that dental practices are community healthcare businesses, however
Yep.
the word is, but
Yep.
they
Yeah.
are
No,
a
the community
community.
centered. They're centered in a community. Yes.
To me, I've heard something amazing. When a dental practice builds trust in the community, you get treatment accepted faster, you get patients to say yes and pay on time, right? So don't forget about internal marketing because you could pay us, Google and Facebook, and make all of us rich. But if you can't turn, Dr. Spera, if you can't turn that one Google Ads patient into 3 patients, you're in a business sense, it's very expensive to grow. Do you get what I mean?
I do.
So that's why to me, I'm always going to say that's number one, because before you do Google Ads with me, I want you to have a program for that internally, because let's say it costs you $100 to bring in a new patient. That's what it is here in SoCal, pretty much, through ads. If you can turn that into 3 patients, guess what? You made that into $33. But if you can't, it's now costing you $100 every time. To me, number two is Google Maps optimization. And we're really good at that. I think that's one of our strengths. That's really being active on that profile. That's making sure every service is inputted. That's making sure you're getting posts regularly. That's making sure you're not just using the photos from 4 years ago, because people still will always go to Google Maps and search dentist near me, pediatric dentist near me, dental implants near me. And then the problem with us as marketers is we can't force people to write you reviews. And that's a big factor in helping you rank higher. So that's number two. So you got to hire a good company that keeps you active, but also get reviews. And then number three is very dependent on what you want to do and what you want to focus on, right? If you are able to do more emergencies and you're great on the phone and you could get people the same day, I'm going to tell you Google Ads all day because I love it. I'm a big proponent on if you are patient and can deal with the ebbs and flows of Google Ads and get it done right. Because what happens is you'll do really well 1 month with Google Ads, where this happens a lot, where someone's, oh my God, I'm so happy I hired you guys. I got 10 more patients this month with Google Ads, and one of them did a big treatment and another did a root canal, and my production was up. And then 3 months later, they're like, oh, we're slow this month. And I'm like, this is marketing. It's ads. You're going to have up and downs. But then there's things like Facebook where if you do full arc, right? And let's say I have a client right now that made like videos. He made really nice videos of happy patients with the full arc that match his target demographic too. And that works really well.
Oh.
But at the end of the day, number one, internal marketing. Number two, SEO and search engine optimization and Google Maps optimization. And number three, an ads program that's tailored to what you can do and focus on.
Okay. Now, on the flip side of that, what are three of the biggest mistakes dentists make when it comes to their own businesses, marketing, or their websites, or any of those items, right? Or
Wow.
just their persona, right? Just their public persona. What are, like, you don't have to be three. You could give me more, you can give me less, but what are some huge mistakes that you see?
Huge mistakes is spending before you have your internal systems and staff prepared,
Say that
right?
again. That's huge. Say that again.
Spending before you have your internal systems and staff prepared, right? Because if
Yep.
you're spending on ads, I want your staff member to say, "Hi, how can we help? Great, you need a new dentist. Dr. Spera is amazing. He's going to sit with you for 5 minutes." Think about that. If you tell me
Well,
that,
other than lying that I'm a good guy. I mean, that was pretty good. Otherwise, yeah.
I read your reviews before I called, so I mean
Otherwise,
before this, right?
otherwise, your
Um,
nose is getting a little longer. A little Pinocchio.
Hey, so I'm Persian. I got a big nose. So, anyways, I think your staff has to be prepared and the staff has to know like a plan, right? Because
Yeah, so you're putting the cart before the horse. So if you're gonna, like, for example, if you're gonna drive and you're gonna get 35 phone calls, and your office is averaging a missed 50 phone calls a week because you don't have the people answering the phone, right?
oh my God, 60% answer rate. I had a client recently that told me that last year, and I'm like, he has 3 offices with us. For one of them, I'm like, we're stopping ads right now, even though it's costing me money. He's, thank you. I can't believe you're. I'm like, until you figure this out, I'm not running Google Ads for you anymore because
Well, there's no way of finding out whether or not it's working.
he's dropping a lot of patients.
Yeah.
We're like seams, we're busting at the seams or we're bleeding at. I'm like, why would you pay all this ads money if you can't get them in the door? And then that's big. Number two for me, and this is a big feeling that I have, when the website is so outdated or doesn't have personalized information or doesn't have before and afters, like I get a lot of this. I want to do more clear aligners. Do you have a case of clear aligners? Have you done a couple free clear aligners cases so you can document it and put it on the site so that someone can trust you more than the office that's done hundreds? And so if you're going to do marketing, make sure your website looks good. Make sure your website, and when I say looks good, I don't mean it looks like it was built for to be like a Louis Vuitton or Gucci. I'm talking about it builds trust, and someone that looks at it says, I can go to this office and get my work done and it's clean, the reviews look good, and all of that, because people are not just going to one website and calling you, they're going to 3, 4, 5 sites. And then number three is what we talked about. It's like the biggest mistake is not getting internal patients and reviews. And a lot of them are like, I don't know how to do it. I don't like asking my staff. And so you're going to keep spending money on new patients and not getting them organically.
So essentially, you got to close the back door too.
Yeah. It's a lot of internal work before you go external, in my opinion.
All right. So you're going to wrap up here shortly. So if they want to reach out to your company, DocSites, DocSites, what's the easiest way to reach you?
I would say go to our website.
I was going to say, you better say your website.
Yeah, go to our website. You could set up a contact form. We'll get back to you right away. One of us 3 owners are going to talk to you. You're never going to get a hard sale. It's going to be a full detailed review for you. And that's the beauty of us, is we're not looking to lock anyone into anything they don't want to be locked into.
Now, what's your arrangement with the Dentistry in General group?
You always get our best setup offer, since we sponsor the group. So if we have a setup offer in the group, like 1,000 off or 7, it changes during the times of year.
Sure.
We're going to give you the best offer. And if you listen to this, I'll throw in one thing off the cuff. If you listen to this and hear this and you schedule a demo and you say, hey, I heard the podcast, we'll give you a $75 Amazon gift card for showing up to the demo too, not just scheduling it.
That's fantastic. Do you want to give phone numbers? Do you want to give any other contact information?
Sure. You could call us at 888-980-4949. We answer at 9 to 5 Pacific time. And then we're also going to be at the Digapalooza. So you can come hang out there.
I love the fact that where you came from, where you started, where the idea comes from, where you came from to, hey, anything's possible in this country, and then finding the right people and then following it and pursuing it with a passion. If anybody doesn't feel your passion for what you do, they're probably numb. You're not really just running a business, you're pursuing a passion. and the connection that you're making with your clients, your docs, and your dentists, because we're dealing with a dental-only group, there's no substitute for it. I'm sorry. I think the one thing that people would be anxious about would be, oh, okay, you just get the subscription. Now the subscription's going out to dry, but that's not how you run your business, right? You stay in touch. There's constant updates. Give me one of your success stories. Just give me a scenario of how it started and where it went.
Yeah. And there's tons of success stories. And one of the big things that we do is we include updates for you. And I've heard many clients mention to us, and we send out a newsletter once a month to our clients, right? I've heard many clients mention they went from like a site that was just built by a friend or
Right.
someone built it from a previous company, didn't update it, didn't do any refreshing. And it comes optimized for search engines. We added before and afters for them. We created these like landing pages that talked about unique value propositions of the practice, right? Not just here's the process of implants, but we actually talked about why this office is the right place for implants. And they've grown, and the reviews speak for themselves. You could go to like many of the Facebook groups and search our names, and they are authentic reviews of happy people that are saying they've benefited. And it's because I think we know about dentistry really well, and we're not fluffing.
I appreciate your time, man. Thank you very much. Digapalooza, I'll be there. Gotta go. Can't miss out. And maybe I'll hook up. I've only been to Chicago Midwinter once, and for the most part, it's definitely a much more civil than New York City.
It's
I haven't gone to the Greater
Midwest vibes.
I haven't gone to the Greater New York meeting in 20 plus years. I also promised somebody I'd get to the Hinman, so I do want to see that. I've heard nothing but good things about that. So
Thank you so much.
appreciate you. Thank you. Reach out. Remember, DocSites.com. Is that your website?
That's what it is.
Okay, there you go. Have a good one.
This has been a production of Dentistry in General Radio Network. Visit our website, dentistryingeneral.com, to join engaging clinical and business conversations, explore our dental podcasts, and stay updated on our upcoming live events.